Hello, friends. It's Chapo, Killer Kitchen, Brooklyn Decker. Like they show up and he's like, "Oh, they're late. I'm gonna ask your dad's permission for marriage, but I'm too damn headstrong and cocky, and I don't know if he'll give me permission." So they show up late, and Neeson's addressing the crowd, and he's like, "We're honored to be joined here today by some of the finest men who have ever served in the United States Navy." And they cut to the real World War II veterans who served on the Missouri during World War II. Now, at this point in the movie, I think, Felix, you were hoping they were actors portraying World War II veterans.
We were not that lucky.
But Matt, Peter Berg, Mr. Troop Sucker.
He loves the troops so much.
So I think he insisted on.
Yeah, he insisted. We needed to make this to honor the troops. They said, "Hey, you want to make a movie about a board game, Peter?" And he said, "Only if it honors the troops."
And boy, does
oh boy,
is there okay? Imagine you're born in 1922. You lived through the Great Depression. You 7 of your best friends, who are also your brothers, are turned into just fucking puddles and ground chuck in front of you in Okinawa. You have 5 kids. One of them absolutely dies due to a lawnmower thing because it's the 50s and 60s. One of your grandsons is, used in anti-ecstasy propaganda because he instantly died when he took an E-pill in 1999 that was shaped like Lucky Charms. And then 13 years later, you are blessed with the final thing you'll ever remember, being in Peter Berg's battleship. What a great American life.
It's all worthwhile.
Yeah. Oh, man. So then, Taylor Kitsch is like, I just need 5 minutes with your dad to do the old-fashioned but traditional thing to ask his permission to marry you. But he doesn't get a chance to do that before he gets in a damn Donnybrook with Tadanobu Asano, his brash Japanese counterpart. They get in a bathroom fight.
Yep, they work it out in the bathroom,
and then they go before Admiral Liam Neeson, and he chews him out. And he's like, Taylor Kitsch, Admiral Hopper. No, sorry, Lieutenant Alex Hopper. Enjoy this rim job because it's gonna be your last one you ever get in the Navy.
Yeah,
you're gone. You're out of here, bud. But what I was wondering though is that after dedicating these RimPac naval games to the veterans of the USS Missouri on board the USS Missouri, he's gonna drum a lieutenant out of the Navy for beating up a Japanese guy. I got to tell you, my grandfather was an officer in the Navy, and he did not, let's just say he did not have fond feelings towards Japanese people. Certainly not members of their Navy, their self-defense Navy.
Yeah.
Well, how would a man from Northern
Ireland, the Imperial Navy, but still, you get my drift.
How would a man born and raised in Northern Ireland and made a Navy admiral randomly one year feel about the Japanese? Probably ambivalent. He'd probably be like, "Hey, don't beat one of those guys up in my bathroom."
So they set out knowing that there's absolutely no way him and the Japanese guy are going to form some sort of mutual respect and friendship by the end of this movie.
Way.
They hate each other.
They hate each other. Yeah,
it's absurd to even imagine such a thing happening.
And then, also that his dreams of a career in the Navy and marrying the admiral's daughter.
That's
shit
goodbye.
in the
He's
gutter.
Done. Not gonna happen.
Forget it.
No way.
Washed out. What a loser.
Washed out. What a loser. He's just going back to being the 7-Eleven oaf that he was at the beginning of the movie. So they embark on the naval games, and I forgot. We're introduced to another wonderful character in this movie, Rihanna. I don't know what her character name is. It's just Rihanna.
Rihanna's in the movie. For some reason, Rihanna's in the movie. I think she wanted to just see what it's like to do acting, and she decided it was boring.
She was like, "I'm making about $1 billion off lipstick and underwear."
Hanging around this set doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
And I respect her for making that decision.
Peter Berg effectively deadened and siloed off any Rihanna acting career.
It's true. Yeah, she was like, enough, no need.
Was she in any other movies?
I can't think of one. In this movie, she plays one of the lower troops. She's one of the gunners. She presses the button to blow things up. And she says something sassy right beforehand, usually. Not always, which is annoying, but usually. And then she does banter with Landry. And it is all the bants in this are just, it's Friday Night Lights in a sealed garage with a car running. Just dumber, slower,
it's
less
sort of
witty.
It's supposed to be camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's supposed to show sort of an ease amongst men at arms and members of a team.
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
it's
but in
nothing.
this case, written by Chinese television.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No recognizable human affect.
The only real connection I found to Friday Night Lights in this is that the aliens resemble Buzz Bissinger and his outfit choices.
Take us to your Gucci store.
They're wearing huge boots.
Landry, I'm telling you, the aliens only have one weakness. It's the troll flesh dungeons for the anonymous man wearing $10,000 slippers. Just have your nipples twisted by have your nipples twisted through a fucking $10,000 cape.
Captain, you're gonna want to see this. It's the aliens' platinum Amex statement.
It's true. They got spikes coming out of their
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, fuck me. I believe at one point in the movie, Rihanna compares Taylor Kitsch's brash admiral to a combination of Donald Trump and Mike Tyson. And no, it's not just because of the many he's committed. Oh, folks! Oh, hey. No, that's not true about Taylor Kitsch or Alex Hopper.
Yeah.
It's weird to remember that Donald Trump was a cultural figure before he was.
Yeah, it's odd.
It's always kind of a smack in the
It's always
face when you
jarring,
encounter
yeah.
that old stuff.
Yeah, all the rap songs where they're like, "I'm like Donald Trump," you know.
Okay, so with the RIMPAC naval games firmly afoot, the movie then takes time to set up the absolutely most dogshit death part of the plotline of the movie, which features Brooklyn Decker as the physical to a real life troop who's like actually in real life has become a motivational speaker after getting cyborg legs after losing them in Afghanistan or Iraq. This is the real Peter Berg troop sucking part of the movie. And it's just, like he works with injured vets and teaches them how to walk again and how to be a man again.
I gotta say, having an entire section of this movie being a two-hander devoted to two novices who don't know how to act was a really smart move on Peter Berg's part. Like, if you're gonna have either of these people in this movie, you pair them with an actor who knows what they're doing so that they can kind of carry them along, instead of just putting them both out there to absolutely flail away and having no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, the motivational speaker's acting, I mean, I'm not even sure in his abilities as a motivational speaker.
No,
I've certainly never heard of him.
Wouldn't even begin to describe it. He just seems like granite. There's just nothing there. Just like this vague pissed offness.
I wonder, do people kill themselves after his speeches?
No, like the only thing he's
Only if
able
a
to
firecracker goes
like
off.
he just sounds like a vaguely he sounds like a vaguely pissed off robot. Like a robot that's really annoyed that you booted him up.
Yeah, no, these are just interminable scenes. But we get some spice later on in those scenes in the form of a nerd.
Yeah, when they bring the nerd in, everything really pops.
Yeah,
The one thing I like about this plot line here is I love the idea that you're some like you're missing limbs, you're some like PTSD fried jarhead, and then they send you to a hospital in Hawaii, and they're like, here is like the hottest woman you've ever seen, and she's like, hi, I'll be your physical. It's like, why do we feel sorry for these guys again? Why is Jon Stewart fucking crying about these dudes?
Yeah,
Come on, it seems like a pretty good deal to
here's
me.
your free robot legs and your Valkyrie who's going to help you learn how to use them.
yeah. It like okay, if you work in like I don't know a fucking eraser plant. What job could you lose your limb at in America anymore? We don't really have like a lot of factories. Okay, let's say you work at LA Apparel. You work at the last factory in America, the LA Apparel factory in Los Angeles, and you lose your arm in the t-shirt machine. It's just like, all right, here's some aspirin, back to work, asshole.
Well, I mean, at this point in the movie, we've seen a lot of kind of like, like satellite, like the CGI, like, satellites in orbit, like sending signals and shit. When are we going to see the aliens? Well, indeed, at this point in the movie, the aliens show up.
While they're out rim jobbing each other.
Yeah, they're
in the
rim
ocean.
jobbing in the fucking Pacific Ocean, and some aliens show up on the planet. The nerd character, played by Hamish Linklater, he's like, sir, you're on with the White House now, and he's like, well, what? These are information, and like essentially, it's a plot device of the movie that the alien communication mothership kind of crashes into one of our
into
satellites,
Hong Kong.
and it breaks up upon reentry, and like a huge chunk of it takes out like a half of Hong Kong.
Yeah, so
More anti-Chinese propaganda.
yes, and so the rest of these ships are without communication ability, which does not seem to me to scan. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, we need a giant array to send them a message, but they got here on a ship. Like, they have that capacity. I wouldn't they be able to communicate with their mother's planet with like a fucking cell phone, realistically? But whatever. They need to have them out of communication with so that they can't bring any more ships after that. So they got to
Well,
have
look,
the
Matt-
thing smash into Hong Kong.
Matt, okay, like, I see the argument you're making, but I think it is very conceivable, given the logic of the movie, that one could make the rather small logical leap that this alien civilization, yes, they've mastered interstellar travel, but they've put the rest of their technology into peg launching and not into interstellar communications.
Oh
They're
God,
doing
the
pegging.
pegs.
The pegging. They're
The
doing
pegs,
pegging.
folks. We love the pegs.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, and then like in the sort of like the White House Situation Room, we get lovable, charming character actor, the great Peter McNichol, who you
Yes.
might remember from Ghostbusters 2.
Oui.
Where are you from? Upper West Side. And of course, your favorite character from Veep, Jonah's
Jeff-
uncle.
Jeff Kane.
He's one of the funniest characters in
Oh
the
my
later
God.
seasons of Veep.
Jeff Kane, what an amazing character. And he should have just played the.
Yeah, they should have been the same character in this movie.
Oh my God. Everyone in this movie deserved the Jeff Kane treatment. Really.
Yeah. So the other alien ships, they land in the Pacific Ocean. The rim job naval games needs to be diverted to investigate. And like they're sort of wondering, oh, is this an exercise? They're looking at it through their binoculars. There's dang alien obelisks sticking out of the oceon. What are you gonna do
They're
about
just
it?
like we're gonna go take a gander.
Well, okay, so like in the Rim-Pack fleet, there are 3 destroyers. One of them is captained by Alexander Skarsgård.
Stone Hooper.
Yeah, Stone Hooper.
Stone Hopper.
Stone Hopper. One is Asano's ship, a Japanese ship, and then there's another destroyer.
Yeah.
There are 3 destroyers in the fleet that they send to investigate the alien obelisks. They send Taylor Kitsch and Rihanna on like a little zip boat, little speed boat to the alien obelisk. And at this point in the movie, I was sort of struck by like I think because there's a little minigun on the boat, they're looking pretty fly, and I was just thinking like I think it's cool that nowadays the Navy lets you wear that kind of like cool digital camouflage instead of like those sailor outfits.
Yeah, they got rid of that like the goofy bell bottom deal. I don't know if you could take them seriously.
Well,
if they were still like that.
they make you wear those when you like meet the president and you're not an officer.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, here, go dress up like a girl because you have to meet Obama. But if you're at war, you get to look like, a Marine or a soldier or whatever.
I mean, you know what happened is that they saw the cool digital camo on all the other branches, and they're like, we look like assholes.
Well, yeah, we have it in a nice blue, a nice shade of blue.
Yeah.
It was the only remaining uniform that just you looked like a fucking goofball.
Yeah.
So at this point, Taylor Kitsch, they slide up to the alien obelisk, and at this point, Taylor Kitsch displays why he should not just have been drummed out of the Navy, but probably put in the brig and sent to Leavenworth as well. Like a complete moron, he touches the obelisk, gets blown up, and wakes up the alien battleships. And at this point, Felix, you said the performance of the Navy in this movie and Taylor Kitsch sort of reminded you of those sailors that Iran scooped up and gave juice boxes to.
That was one of the greatest events in naval history. Because they didn't even there is this weird story about this woman who was in the, I think she was in the Navy. She was a Navy officer, and she defected to Iran. And allegedly, after she defected, she tried to interrogate these soldiers, or these sailors rather, when they were captured. But it doesn't really seem like it doesn't seem like these guys would have known anything.
Yeah.
And it seemed like just a way for the Iranians to be like, haha, we're giving your guys juice boxes and making them wear blankets. Probably why they killed Soleimani. That was pretty embarrassing for the U.S. military.
Well, the U.S. Navy gets embarrassed at this point, but to be fair, they're not going up against Iran. They're going up against a vastly technologically superior alien civilization.
Kind of,
yeah.
Again, superior to a degree that can't even be conceived of technologically in one sense because they got here. But in terms of their weapons, in
Pretty much
terms
the
of
same
their,
thing.
they are at bare parity with
Yeah.
the American military. It's
Well,
absolutely.
we'll discuss their weapons in a second, but basically, before the alien battleships emerge, the obelisks cover this huge circumference of the Pacific Ocean in a force field, which blots out all radar and communications for hundreds of miles, and in cases traps all these ships on a battle board, a grid, if you will.
something like that.
And then Taylor, Alexander Skarsgård, his ship gets owned.
Uh,
Well, the thing is, you have to get the alien war technology. They fire pegs.
Yep.
The little plugs from the game Battleship. They fire those.
They shoot them in the
They
air.
shoot them in the air like woo,
And then they
and they spin into these ships, and they sort of like punch
punch
into the
themselves
side
in.
of the ship.
And then when they hit, they go in farther, and then the whole thing blows up. And
Just
then
like in the game.
just like in the game.
And this was the saddest part of the entire movie. This was right when we paused and realized this movie was not 87 minutes long as it should have been designed to be, and we did in fact have over an hour to go. This is the emotional, like the emotional dead center of the movie.
Yeah, and that's when you finally get, hey, remember the Battleship? Here
Yeah.
it is. They finally remind you.
They remember, it's just like the game.
Hey, the premise. That
I think the movie did a beautiful job of depicting the game of Battleship.
absolutely the throwing the pegs in the air.
Knocking the board over.
Knocking
You got
the
so
board.
frustrated with how fucking boring it is.
Yeah, and Alexander Skarsgård, that is his last memory. You know, is losing Battleship to the aliens.
But at no point does anyone say you sunk my battleships. No
That's
one
true.
says it.
There's a
They
line.
do
There's
it
a line
in
that gets close to that at the end of the movie. We'll get to that.
But
We'll
it's
get to
like
that.
you cannot not have that in the movie. I'm sorry.
So basically, the sort of more upright elder brother who's sort of like trying to keep Taylor Kitsch on the straight and narrow, he gets blowed the fuck up. His whole ship goes down. He's fucking destroyed. Him and all his men dead, going to Davy Jones's locker. So Kitsch gets back to his ship. I forget. Oh, because he's on another battleship. I don't fucking know.
He
Or
was on a small boat. Then
Yeah,
he
sorry,
went on
sorry,
the
he's on a-
Japanese, or he went on the other destroyer, and then the Japanese ship also got owned by the plugs, and then he decides that he is going to kamikaze attack.
Yeah. They pull him back on his ship, and they're like, he's like, where's the captain? They're like, sir, you're the captain. You're the highest ranking officer like left alive. We need orders. We need orders, sir. And they're like surveying the smoldering wreckage of their two other destroyers. Wait, those are Ali Burke class destroyers.
Yes.
I'll have you know. They're seeing this Leviathan alien fucking dreadnought bearing down on them, and they're like, sir, we need orders. And he's like, oh, you want an order? Here's an order. Full attack. Full steam ahead. Ram into this ship. Let loose all guns at this thing. And at this point, there should have been a mutiny.
Yeah, they should have thrown his ass overboard.
They should have mutinied immediately, surrendered to these aliens, given up.
Yeah, because
Just,
this is insane. Be like the Kiel mutineers of 1917.
He's like, they killed my brother.
Yeah.
He wants the suicide attack.
It was
alien ship.
Yeah, so it's like, so like the whole movie is supposed to be about this guy being tested and then finding his character, and it's like, oh, here it is. He's a psycho, a nihilist demon willing to kill everyone in his own ship. And at one point, the thing that stops him is that somebody says, hey, there's survivors of the Japanese ship. There's sailors in the water. Should we go and get them? And at first, he's like, no, fuck them. First, I want them to drown and everyone in my ship to die just so that I could express how sad I am that my brother got blown up.
With no indication that they even have the capability of harming the aliens.
Yes.
Like failure through and through.
And finally, they like snap it into him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I won't do that. And then they disengage, and then somehow they just stop fighting for a while, and other stuff happens, and then it's nighttime.
I think you could sum up 75 to 80% of the movie with other stuff happens.
Yeah.
Well, and Tadanobu Asano is alive. He's not dead. I thought he was dead earlier.
They pull him onto the boat with the other survivors.
But at this point in the movie, we talk about the aliens. They got another trick up their sleeve. They got another weapon in their arsenal. That weapon not featured in the original Battleship board game, and I was very upset about this. So I was like, "What? This is not canon." The alien,
It's not canon. It's a buzzball.
There are no buzzballs in the game of Battleship, but the aliens in this movie, they launch buzzballs.
They got buzzballs.
They launched buzzballs at military and civilian infrastructure in Honolulu and all over Hawaii. The buzzballs, Matt, I think you could hit the nail right on the head here. They're like the slightly upgraded version of the Langoliers.
Yeah.
Stephen King's The Langoliers. Have you seen that TV miniseries? The sort of writhing masses of teeth that consume the past and everything in it.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
And they just launch them seemingly at random. They show you inside the buzzball, so you know that it's guided by some sort of intelligence as it's zipping around. And it goes up to a kid on a baseball field because it gets launched all the way into Hawaii, and it stops in front of this kid, and the kid in its vision is like green, so it's like, oh, then I'm not going to hit the kid. Instead, I'm going to bulldoze over the support beams of this fucking 8-lane highway
Yeah.
that's got hundreds of fucking cars on it.
Yeah.
So it
And
uses
that's again where like these aliens are just us. We're small fig leaf of like, oh, we can't do that, and then just otherwise allowing us to do whatever we want and kill whoever we.
So like,
Ten
yeah, like, one
years
of our
ago-
drone operators is like, oh, there's one individual child. That would violate the laws of war. Like here's a like a water purification facility that has like some maybe technical militaries. We'll blow that up and kill thousands of
Yep.
children,
Yep.
or an entire highway overpass that's going to crush a school bus.
Yep.
But hey, look, we didn't try to kill those kids. We didn't. They were just
10 years ago, Elon Musk saw this movie and was like, oh my God, I know how our self-driving car system is going to work. It's exactly the same thing.
Well, no, the Elon Musk self-driving car would do the opposite. It would just plow straight through that kid on the highway.
Hit the kid, do a pit maneuver, turn it, go into the other lane, hit a water purification plant, blow up.
The buzzballs are so baffling, and to me, they reek of some studio executive in the chain during the making of this movie who just got it in his head that would be cool and made them do it. Because otherwise, I don't know where they came from. What's the point of them? They don't do anything. The pegs I get, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's from the game. What are the buzzballs? Because they don't figure into anything. They don't do anything.
You know, I got to say, God bless Fortnite. Because, okay, everyone makes fun of how Fortnite now it's like the kitchen sink drain for all culture, things that you can't spin off into their own thing necessarily. So it's like
Predator.
Goku,
Darth
Predator,
Vader, yeah.
Darth Vader, Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
They're everyone, Chef from South Park. They're all fighting each other. They're all shooting laser beams and
Man,
have lightsabers.
Chef would have a huge hitbox. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, you don't want to play as him. But I think that has prevented more of these movies from being made. You can just put the buzzball in Fortnite.
Right.
If you're Viacom or whatever,
Yes.
you'll be like, hey, we're going to license you the buzzball idea for $17 million, and you don't have to make this movie.